Hey yo, what's poppin' everybody? It's your boy C Double G, and by popular demand, I mean like 3 people, asked me to make a silo build guide video, or at least to just showcase my silo build, and this is what this is. I'm gonna go over all the masteries, the affinities, the echoes, the skills that I chose, and even the potions that I use, and hopefully you guys get something out of this. Or maybe you guys in the comments can teach me something that will make my build better. Who knows? It's a give and take. This game is brand new and we're all still learning. Now this build isn't 100% complete. I still need echoes that I'm still farming. I still need an accessory that I don't even believe is in this game yet. So on and so forth. But we'll get into it. If there's any part of the video that you want to check out, like the accessories or the affinities or masteries or whatever, there will be timestamps in the description. So if you want to skip ahead, you feel free to. But without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, let's start with the abilities and why I chose to put the points where I put them. First, we need to understand the passives. Deals 10% bonus melee and range standard shot damage to enemies that are debuffed, slow, burning, poisoned, etc. So we have a burning with firebomb, and then we have a slow and burning with oil bomb when we detonate it with firebomb. Then, on critical hit, exposes the enemy for 6 seconds, marking it for teammates while exposed. Enemies take an additional 10% from all sources. So it just is another debuff from enemies, so they can take 10% extra damage from us. I didn't put any points into firebomb. I'm not going ability silo at all, so I don't need the damage to be increased. I don't need the burn damage to be increased. And I think the level 3 is bugged. I don't think it works. So that's why I didn't bother putting anything in the firebomb whatsoever. I did go 3 points into oil bomb because I'm definitely going to put at least 2 because oiled enemies are more likely to be critically hit. Critical hits are huge with silo, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I just put all the points here because I'm not really using firebomb for direct damage at all. And then I put 3 points into our ult because anybody that got hit by our ult will take an additional 20% more damage for 6 seconds. So the 20% extra damage from this, you got 10% extra damage from this, and you got 10% extra damage for this. So 40% extra damage from anybody who is affected by my ult. Plus it slows them, so that's a debuff. So it counts for this strategic advantage. And then 1 point into proto clone because this clone is OP for solo play. It just taunts and distracts everything, and you can just group them all up, drop oil on them, explode them, cause them all to burn, and then take 40% damage, especially if you ult. Alright, now let's talk about mastery. Mastery is really simple and straightforward. We're using guns, so we're going to use one of the guns masteries, and we're definitely going to be using critical reload because on a hotspot reload, it grants up to 16% crit chance based on the amount of shots reloaded for 10 seconds. I'm constantly hotspot reloading my gun. I shoot 3 shots and then I hotspot reload. 3 shots, hotspot reload. Because the way Tempest works, which is the gun that I use, it gets 3 quick shots and then it shoots slow again. So I do 3 quick shots, reload, 3 quick shots every single time. So I'm constantly getting the crit chance buff. I'm not sure how it works with the amount of bullets or amount of shots reloaded, but 3 shots is half of the magazine, so I'm just gonna assume I'm getting half the crit chance, 8% for 10 seconds. Alright, now let's talk about my affinities. Now if you don't know exactly how affinities work, basically whichever category you choose to put affinity points into is going to boost the stat affiliated with that category on a given weapon or an item. For example, under Instinct, we have crit rating and crit power on my Tempest. So when I put points into Instinct, it boosts the crit rating and the crit power on my Tempest. When I hover over Instinct, you can also see that it boosts the weapon power and the break power of my 2 accessories. Because when we go to our accessories, hover over it, you can see the weapon power. It has Instinct as the symbol underneath it or in the background. And then on my ring, you have the break power with the Instinct symbol in the background. So these affinities are very important, especially when picking out accessories, because picking out accessories, I want them to be boosted by my instinct and my discipline. So I'm only going to pick accessories that have an important stat in instinct and an important stat in discipline, like crit power, crit rate, weapon power, which are my 3 main stats that I want to build. Now you might be asking, oh, well, isn't your Tempest weapon power boosted by focus? Why didn't you put points in focus? Well, that's where we get to the affinity perks. When we open the affinity perks, focus doesn't really give me anything that I want for my build. Hitting an enemy with ignite grants 1% ability power. I'm not going ability silo, so I don't care. And then basic attacks have a 2% chance to refresh the cooldown of firebomb. I'm not spamming firebomb. I don't care about that 2% chance to refresh it. But I do care about the increased crit chance by 10% against debuff targets, because all I'm using my abilities for is to debuff target. I also care about increased damage bonus to strategic advantage by another 10%. That's 20% extra damage that I get to do with that passive. And then adding the ultimate meter slightly fills every time a basic attack hits a debuff target. Well, I'm always hitting debuff targets because that's what my abilities are for. Okay, now let's talk about accessories. Now, as I said in the beginning of the video, I'm missing an accessory. It's called the Stone of Greed. That'll help me get another, 5% to total weapon power and crit rate. So I'll have the full set bonus. But I'm using these specifically because of what they give me with my affinity stats. So my Idol of Avarice gives me weapon power and crit power, and my instinct and my discipline, which are my 2 main stats, and then a little bit of crit rate, never hurt nobody. Then I'm using the Greedborn Ring, which is break power, which break power is super helpful, especially when you saw the clips in the beginning. I just got rid of their shields and started melting them. That was on Sphere 4, by the way. And then crit rating is in the discipline spot, because I just want to crit all the time, which I pretty much crit like 70 to 80% of the time. And then I just currently have Bone Daw as a placeholder because Bone Daw has weapon power in the discipline spot, which is my 2nd main stat. So it boosts that weapon power up even more. But if I could ever get the Stone of Greed, it has attack power in my instinct spot, and it has crit power in the discipline spot, which are my 2 main stats, and it'll boost me like crazy, especially with the set bonus. So if anybody knows how to get it or where to find it, please let me know so I can start farming it, because this is very important to my build. All right, now for the moment you've probably all been waiting for is the echoes. I found that going split between weapon power and crit power was the most beneficial for me, and then adding crit, because I tried going to like 9k weapon power and I had like 3k crit power, and I just wasn't hitting as hard. I don't know what the scalings are, what the numbers are, but I found out going like a little bit of a balance between the 2, crit power and weapon power, did the best for me when it came to killing things. So, and crit rate is at 35 because I just want to crit all the time, especially when I do bonus damage to anything that's debuffed. So there's a lot of different echoes that you can choose from and go by, but I'm just going to go over what mine are, because I'm going to be making a video talking about all the best echoes and where to farm them later. So if you are interested in that, make sure you hit the sub button and turn on notifications so you'll know exactly when that comes out. But I'll just go over mine for now. Again, I'm still farming some echoes because I can be a lot stronger and these could be a lot better. But right now I have Strike Skirmisher Echo here. I need to replace this with another Hollow Horror because that's the slot that it's supposed to be in. I got another Strike Skirmisher Echo here, and then a Foregone Emissary because of the crit power, and then the Beastmaster Echo, which I think is probably the best echo on Silo, because if you proc that increased crit rating, you're never gonna not crit. You crit 100% of the time if you proc that Panther. But if you proc the Bear Slam, it's like getting a second shot of your Tempest off, so it's like doing double damage. And then if you get the little Frost Path, well then bad luck, I guess. But but getting the Bear Slam and the proc of increased crit rate is insane. So I always recommend going Beastmaster Echo on Silo. For my Tempest, I overflowed it. If you want to learn how to overflow your echo capacity, I have a video that I made about it. Just click the link in the description. but I have 2 Bonebreaker echoes for the crit power, and then a Bloodletter echo for the weapon power, along with another Hollow Horror for the weapon power there with the Hollow Horror. This is going to be another Hollow Horror if I can find another Hollow Horror, but for now I just have a little bit of weapon power and a little bit of weapon power with Strike Skirmisher. This is going to be another Hollow Horror if I find another Hollow Horror there for that too. And then I have 2 Bone Breakers. I gotta level this one up, and then the Hollow Horror. So every time I get a balance slot for a balance echo, I'm going to put a Hollow Horror there. It just has so much weapon power on it. Also with a little bit of sustain because Silo is pretty squishy. And as you can see, I went full glass cannon on him. Alright, and last but not least, let's talk about the potions that I use. Purified Dragonkin Blood is literally the most insane thing I've ever seen. Your weapons do an additional hit equal to 20% of the physical damage done for 60 seconds. That procs on every single one of Tempest's weapon ability hits. That rapid fire hit, every shot adds an extra 20% damage to it as an extra hit. This thing is nuts. If you have the Purified Dragonkin or if you have the Unfiltered Dragonkin Blood, I suggest using that as much as you can. I'm pretty sure I got this in one of the ice maps. I just can't remember exactly when or where I got it. I just saw this when I was crafting things and I was like, this is crazy. And on my second slot, I used the basic Stomper Blood Brew 3. Increases crit power by 25% for 60 seconds. So that way I'm hitting more damage and it scales with that 20% extra damage from the other potion. And these two together makes me do crazy nutty damage for 60 seconds. So yeah, that's basically what I'm working with Silo right now. I have a lot of things to improve on it and change with it once I get the right equipment and the right drops. But let me know what you guys think. What would you change? What would you add? What would you take away? Or what kind of Silo build are you rocking with? Let me know in the comments below. But as always, if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. And for more helpful Wayfinder videos like this one, make sure you hit that sub button. It's been your boy, CG, and I hope y'all have a dope ass day. Deuces.